private. Yeah. All right, dude. Where'd you go? Camera goes on. You jump off the bed. All right. Okay. Well. All right. Click there. Click there. It's up. It's happening. We're going. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Houston with a Problem. Show number 727. A Boeing 727 is what we got going on today. Looks like UBS is liquidating some of their investment funds because of liabilities tied to First Brands. You know, First Brands is like a $50 billion bankruptcy. Essentially, they're a giant monopoly that formed for non-OEM parts for cars. You got brands like Rebestos, Brakes. You know, this is a huge company that makes a lot of parts for vehicles that are not the original equipment manufacturers of those vehicles. That being like, you know, Ford parts for Fords, Mopar for Stellantis, Chrysler. Was it what's the Delta whatever one for GM? I can't remember. But this is a company that makes parts that go to all sorts of vehicles. You know, if you go to like Rock Auto and you're looking for parts, like 90% of the parts in there probably come from a First Brands company. And these dudes, I don't know what squirrely shit was going on, but they basically borrowed against everything. And they multi-borrowed using collateral multiple times to get more money, and I don't know where any of the money went. So they've gone to the court, the bankruptcy court, and said, hey, we need $600 million right now, or else all these brands are going to blink out of existence. And this is one of the problems with allowing companies to continually merge. First Brands is like 1,000 different auto manufacturers they've consolidated over the years. These were companies that previously competed against each other. And now they're all owned by one umbrella corporation, and there's no competition. If you're buying a Rebestos part, it's another brake company that's the exact same thing, just a different name slapped on it. And because we've allowed these like wanton mergers to happen amongst all these brands, now that the big company's going under, there is no one else to make this stuff. So you will either have to get the original equipment manufacturer piece, which will cost a lot of money, or buy some weird Chinese knockoff that has no guarantees as to its durability, safety, quality, anything like that. So yeah, we're learning our lessons in real time about the dangers of unfettered capitalism, and this is one of those things. Like, don't allow companies to consume up all their competition, and then they do shitty financial stuff that causes them to have a $50 billion bankruptcy, and that's it. Poof. No more competition. So if you're a mechanic trying to get parts for a car, in a couple of years, if this company doesn't exist anymore, that's going to be it. You're going to have to pay big dollars to the manufacturers, the original equipment manufacturers, to get those parts because there's no competition. And oops. Oh, well, there it goes. Tied into this, so UBS is tied into this. They're just the first to admit it. You're looking at probably all sorts of other investment banks and big financial institutions that are also going to have these problems. It's just UBS the first one to be like, we're getting out now. Because I think they learned their lesson when they picked up Credit Suisse and their liabilities with GameStop and everything else. You got to be the first one out. Everyone else is doomed after that. You're just slightly less doomed if you're the first one out. Yeah. So what else is happening? I can't remember what else I put in the doohickey. Starting tonight, regional airports and smaller commuter planes, like 4-seat across planes, 2-seat each side, those ones are likely going to start having their flights canceled as entire regions across the U.S. get shut down due to the FAA not having enough air traffic controllers due to the government shutdown. What else happened? I can't remember what I put into the description of today's show. What did I put in the description? I don't know. I don't remember. Oh yeah, dude collapsed in the Oval Office today, and Donald Trump just stood there while Dr. Oz went to treat him. Good thing there's at least Dr. Oz is a piece of shit, but at least he's a doctor, so you can like be like, hey, this looks like a heart attack, and they looked at his legs and looked like they started doing CPR on him. Hopefully, whoever that dude was, he's okay. But it's pretty phenomenal juxtaposition picture of Trump just standing there at his desk, like, while other people are helping the man who's down. I wouldn't trust Donald Trump to do CPR on anybody, so it's probably good he just stood there like a deer in the headlights. GME prices completely bottomed out. It's like the lowest it's been in, well, since March or April, somewhere in there. Floor Dog, do you have anything to add? I don't know. You guys will hit me up when it comes time. So let's do that. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Okay. Oh, the After Dark was still on. Woohoo! Turn that off. All right. Moo Myung was first. Fantastic. I think he's saying it's the dude from Novo Nordisk. Gordon Findlay was the one who allegedly took the header at the press conference. Noted. Interesting when he gets back to the boardroom. Don't they make some like Stantons or whatever? Like a crypto, GME is at its lowest price. Oh, I just said that. In 7 months since the 6 trading days between Thursday, March 27th and Friday, April 4th, 2025. Before that week, the previous low, where we are now, was October 28th, 2024. So, yeah, way to pull that trigger, Ryan. Woo! Yeah, got $10 billion of cash on hand. The stock's at all-time lows. Matt James was third. GDC was fourth. Michael Gio2UO. They have moved the date of GTA 6 to next November. Please ask the Magic 8 Ball if we'll have MOAS before that. I just want to do nothing for 3 months while I explore every inch of Vice City. Will MOAS come before GTA 6? Come on. Oh. Can't say now. I don't know if you guys can even... Can't say now. Well, 8 Ball don't know. 8 Ball don't know what the 8 Ball don't know. 4Z9, number 4.2. Corporate Walnut, what do you think when you see orcas flipping boats? Hilarious. I mean, I'm a family of sailors. We go out, we have boats, we sail, we have a great time. Orcas out here aren't flipping boats, but orcas in the Mediterranean flipping boats like nobody's business. So that makes sense to me. If I were an orca, I'd be pissed at boats too. So good for them. Good for them. Pulsar says yo. Brendan Wells says sup Houston. Zuma God do with nub. Crypt Keeper better have my money. Yes. I'm blowing up somewhere. Okay. All right, that's just a link to Gordon Findlay. Okay. Polestar DC sandwich guy found not guilty. U.S. starting to heal. Isn't that wonderful? You can take a hoagie and wing it at law enforcement, and precedent is there. Precedent is there. You're not going to be found guilty. So by all means, hurl your sandwiches at all the assholes you see on the street. I think the Portland protesters should now show up with sandwiches and just wing them at the ICE cops. Why not? It's legal now. Have fun. Have a great time. You don't have to go out and buy a sandwich. It's going to be cheaper to build your own at home than it is to go and buy a prestige sandwich. So you might as well, get your own bread, put your own ingredients on there. Make sure there's lots of mustard. Lots of mustard. Because that shit's not coming out. You'll be able to see which cops have been winged with mustard drenched sandwiches because they're like fancy little vests will have like orange splotches that will never come out. Put a lot of turmeric in there. A lot of turmeric, a lot of mustard. By all means. Mupulin, when is the November swap date again? How does this relate to May 2024 run-up, if it does at all? The November swap date is the 3rd Friday in November, I believe. So this is the first Friday in November. So 2 more Fridays from now. That should be the OPEX date. Or swaps are sorry. Swaps and OPEX aren't necessarily lined up, but I think only sad but truthful will give me that date. Sometime in November. I don't know of how it lines up to May 2024 because there's their own swaps in May and June of 2024. So there's swaps. Most of them are like on 2-year cycles. Some are on 10-year cycles. Some are on 6-month cycles. And usually they're August, November, January, March, June. I think there's 5 of them in a year around that. So, oh shoot, Juice Mammy, your buddy Elon got his payout. Oh shit. So Elon's going to get $1 trillion payout from Tesla. That is some of the dumbest shit on earth. There's so many little Tesla bro simps like, oh, Elon, he's been the first trillionaire. Oh, and they're so happy about that some dude who's the worst human being ever is going to have access to $1 trillion in wealth. Anywho, in other news, Tesla will be bankrupt soon because no one wants to buy their cars. Cameron Mirza, monkey treat, please. We can do that. I think we can. Oh, monkey. Oh, monkey. Want some treats? Yeah. You want it? We got it. I have technology. Want this one? You gotta come up on your bed first. You gotta come up there and get it. Come up there and get it. You got it. Boom. Yeah. Yes. I like it. Scratch the butt. Is that good stuff? Is that the good stuff, monkey? Oh, drooling all over the place. There's like drool everywhere in your blanket. That is so drippy and gross. Yeah. Another. Are you ready? Look up your slobber. What's going on over there? Nom, 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 nom. Okay, happy dog. Happy dog time. Thank you, Mirza. Mupulin, if the warrants expire in a year and nothing happens, is it over for Jamie and Ryan Cohen? I mean, he'll still have billions of dollars in capital on hand. He'll just have a bunch of really pissed off investors. But they'll be so pissed off. But GME did reserve the right to extend the expiration date if they want. So, yeah. Turkish, I hear a kid crying. That's roommates' kids, little babies. They're teeny tiny little crying machines. So yeah, they're out there playing in the living room. Have the door closed, but you can still hear the kids crying. But I won't be any more kids crying. They're moving out on the 19th, and I got new roommates coming in. So no more babies waking me up with screams. Mupulin, you said you predicted the price can easily get about 32. What do you see? What do you see can cause this price increase? And how are you feeling about it this now that it's hitting new lows at 21? Swaps. I think swap dates, and if Roaring Kitty ever comes back, those two things can be a catalyst. Last November we hit like 35, 37 after lows, right? If look, gotta minimize you. Let's go back to that one, and we go to GME price. So 1 year. Okay. So yeah, we got to 30. That's January 23, November 6th. And then shot up to 30.89 November 27th. But I think the intraday was like 35. So basically in 3 weeks, it went from $23 to 30.89. And then by January, we were back up into the upper 30, 32, 33. And then dipped back down where last March was the new low, or the recent low. And then shot back up into 30s again. So, seems like when we get these lows, it starts to climb once more. So, climbing it is. What are the? I haven't looked at options prices recently. Jamie options chain. Oh, I forgot to even show you guys what I'm doing here. Chrome. Roop, 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 roop. Okay. Okay. Yeah, got it. Cool. In-depth analysis. I don't care about AI. Go rot in hell. All right. Options prices for tomorrow. Pretty cheap. Word. Let's look at December 5th, so that if we do get a rush as the swap states come through and OPEX towards the end of the month, we go about $30. Not bad. So just out of the money, 22s are a buck. Implied volatility is below 60%. Not too shabby. So, we got to 30.89 the end of November last year. And those options are at 28 cents right now. So if you put those in the money, you'd be at implied volatility go up, so you'd be at probably $2 or $3. So you can 10x yourself, hopefully, if that's the case. Bounce from that low of last year to the high of last year. So, Okay, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about it. Polestar down another 3% today. Yippee! Yippee! Woo! Mapulin also asks, also, wouldn't it be wiser to buy warrants near the end of the expiration date due to theta decay causing the price to drop significantly? Yes, but you'll probably get explosion of price before then, which, if you wait till the end, the price explosion may have already happened and all those warrants may have already been exchanged. That's one thing to think about. Mupulin? Oh, I did that one. Polestar, Rogan, what makes Mamdani a swindler? Musk. Yeah, the guy who just swindled $1 trillion out of his company is calling other people a swindler. Yeah, career public servant. Lives on a fairly modest salary. That's the swindler. How dare he want to get free buses and cheap groceries for people? That's a swindle. Like other dudes are like, well, Johnny got elected. This could be Sharia law. Just because someone is of Muslim heritage does not mean they necessarily believe in Sharia law or anti-democracy. I mean, I'm literally seeing comments under an Elon post from yesterday where there's hundreds of men saying repeal the 19th Amendment. That's the amendment that gives women the right to vote. And these same dudes are scared of Sharia law in New York City because they elected somebody of Muslim heritage. Women should be barefoot along the kitchen. You can't elect that Muslim guy. It's going to hurt women. Your hypocrisy is showing, you dweebuses. So, Mupulin. Speaking of the May 2024 run, wouldn't now be an ideal time for Roaring Katie to reappear? You said in the past he would most likely show up near the beginning of a market crash. I think there's a lot of things that would be very ideal for Roaring Kitty to do, and he's not done lots of those things. I don't know if he's even in the stock anymore. I don't know. I mean, basically, he was momentarily a billionaire, and Ryan Cohen took him out of billionaire status. And I think he gave Ryan a chance a bunch of times, and I think his signal of unfollowing Ryan Cohen is kind of him being like, deuces. So I don't even know if he's in it anymore. We need to get something from him. We haven't seen anything from him in a year, almost a year, since last Christmas. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. Does he have the stock anymore? Did he just give up and buy a bunch of Vanguard or something? I don't know. I don't know. Hot Pocket Rebel. Hope Moass comes for y'all. Had to sell. Ah, shit. And then Eric Farmer, so it begins. We pull in, what's your opinion on Michael Burry beating hard against NVIDIA and Palantir? Time to short. Good for Jimmy. Well, both Palantir and NVIDIA have dropped significantly since Burry took his short position against them. They're both insanely overvalued. Absolutely insanely overvalued. Like, Palantir should not be $100 billion plus company. They do not have enough government contracts to warrant that. So, I mean, people look into the future like, oh, maybe it will be a Palantir society. NVIDIA is also way overvalued. What is it? It's like 100x versus its sales at the moment, which is just bonkers. GameStop does what, $4 or $5 billion a year in sales, and they're valued at 2x, and they've got $10 billion in cash on hand. You got companies like Materion that has $200 billion in proven reserves of beryllium. They do $2 billion a year in sales, and you can buy the company for like $900 million. These valuations are insane. It's like pure speculation that's making NVIDIA as high as it is. And that speculation is all based upon AI, which has no ability to make a profit. None. Zero. There's not a condition in the world which these current American AI firms can turn a profit. It just can't happen. The expenses of building these facilities are too much. The energy cost is too much. The resource cost is too much. And there isn't a price point at which anybody can enjoy their services that would make them a profit. It just doesn't exist. So I don't know what NVIDIA is going to do when all these server farms collapse and all these super expensive, very fancy chips go onto the secondary market and have no buyers for them. I don't know what the solution is going to be. So, I mean, Sam Altman was on Twitter today and did like a 10,000 word plea to people that, like, no, really, we're a legit business. We promise we can make money. We just have to give all of our liabilities over to the U.S. government to guarantee, so that if we do fail, because we're going to sell a whole bunch of high-powered chips to China, that I have a golden parachute. And yeah, Jacob Shukla super chats. Do you think the market will zoom if the Supreme Court shoots down the tariffs? Yes. I think we will get a big old green from that. And that might be the only thing that can save the market at this point. And that only works if we see significant price drops. And so basically a deflationary period, and people can go out and spend money again. And our ports fill up with goods that can be sold. And the truckers have stuff to move around. If the Supreme Court doesn't shoot down the tariffs, we're done. And that's it. Hot Pocket Rebel took a massive loss on a stock I believed in and spent thousands of hours researching. My small business took a hit this year, and I have to sell it all to provide for my amazing family that I failed. Ah, shit. That's... ouch. That's the crap. That's what happens when Ryan Cohen just doesn't pull the goddamn trigger. We get shit like that. And so you just lost an investor, Ryan. Right there. Poof, gone. A guy who had take some risks to hopefully make his family life better. Now, it wouldn't have to take that risk before. But 5 years on, Corporate Walnut is chatbots all the way down. Pretty much. Michael Harrow, Houston. No amount of money Elon has will change the fact people think he's a douchebag. 100%. Like, I can't speak for everybody in this chat, but if I had access to $1 trillion in wealth, I would never run a company. I would basically live the good life and do nothing but philanthropy. That's it. You know, every community in America would basically have an awesome rec center. For $1 trillion? Oh my gosh, you know what we're gonna do? Do you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do some math. Oh shoot, it didn't show up on the whose was it? Why are you not on the other side? I'm playing the little math thing here, and it's just not showing up on the Twitch side. Whatever. All right. So, turn off the calculator intro. Bam. Go to scene. Bam. Turn off the Chrome. Bam. Got the calculator. Okay, $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Million. Billion. $1 trillion. $1 trillion. 1/4 of the entire federal budget. Right there. Okay, so $1 trillion. 1/21st of the U.S. GDP in its entirety. One human being has control of that in wealth. Okay, turn that shit into cash, right? $1 trillion is enough to basically repave every road in America, to fix every water system in America. So just think in U.S. How much do you think a rec center costs? Construction. You got pool, basketball courts, gym, maybe a little outside pool and water park. Kind of like the really cool one in Spearfish, Nevada. I like to go visit if I go to Sturgis. 20 million? So $20 million. Okay, let's divide that by 20 million. You could build 50,000 rec centers. That's about how many communities there are in America. About 50,000 different named communities. So you could literally put a rec center in every single solitary community in America, and then still probably have $1 billion left over to be a rich asshole with. No problem. No problem at all. Okay, with $1 trillion. All right, $1 trillion. $1 trillion in wealth. Okay. Got $1 trillion in wealth. I want to see how many people I can feed. Let's see here. My own personal food budget is probably like $50 a week, right? So divide that by $50. You can feed 20 billion people a week for 1 week. But if you do it for a year, divided by 52 weeks, you can now feed 384 million people for a year. An entire year. Feed 384 million people with that money. Okay. Let's also look at $1 trillion. What else could we do with that money? We could house every person in America. So we have something like 12 million underhoused people in the US, right? And to get them a home, to just buy a home, you could buy $200,000, get yourself 1-bedroom units, whatever. Rent $1,500 a month. Let's look at rent. How many people could we do? $1,500 a month. That's 1 month rent for 666 million people, but it's 12 months in a year. So now you can house 55 million people. And there's 12 million homeless people in the world, in the US. So 12 million homeless people. You could get homes for 12 million underhoused people for the next 4.6 years with that kind of money. Damn, that goes a long ways, right? And that's not even counting whatever you earn off interest from that. So interest, you take $1 trillion. Right? Okay, $1 trillion, and you're making 8% annuities on your Vanguard account. So times 0.08. So $1 trillion, you're doing $80 billion a year in basically interest and annuities. $80 billion a year. Enough money you're making off of interest and annuities off that wealth to be already like the 10th wealthiest person on earth with that kind of cash. 80 billion. This is stupid. This is dumb. This is really stupid. That's just at 8%. If you put it in the S&P and the SPY, which for the past, I don't know, 10 years been doing like 25%, you'd be at 250 billion a year. And then that's compounding. I fucking hate the future. This is so dumb. A trillionaire is stupid. You should be able to get to $999 million, $999,999,999.99, and then that's it. You get a t-shirt that just says, I won capitalism, and it's over. You don't get to play anymore. You don't get to run a company. You don't get to do shit. You now must retire in luxury and bask in that glory, and then that's it. Done. You are retired. Forced to retire. Somebody else can come in and have their crack at being king of capitalism. Giving somebody $1 trillion is so stupid. You know, people are like, hey, you know, 1,000,000 seconds is 11 days. 1,000,000,000 seconds is 11 years, right? 1,000,000,000,000 seconds. Look at that. Trillion. Bing, bong, bong. Okay, got 1,000,000,000 seconds. There is 60 seconds in a minute. Right? There is 60 minutes in an hour. There is 24 hours in a day. There is... Oops, I did that one wrong. Dang it, I did 224. I want this one. There we go. Come on, go back to this. Go back, go there. Go, give me this one. God damn it. Trillion. Stupid double clicking on the calculator ruins everything. Okay. Divided by 60. Divided by 60. Divided by 24. Right? And divided by 365. 1,000,000,000 seconds is e to the 14th. That doesn't make any sense. What did I do wrong here? Did I hit a times by accident? Motherfucker. 1,000,000,000 seconds. Oh my gosh. Houston's messed up on his calculator here. Divided by 60 equals that. Divided by 60 equals that. Divided by 24 equals that. Divided by 365. There we go. So we'd have 1,000,000,000 seconds is 3,171 years. So basically you're going back to ancient Greece. You just counted from like ancient Greece until today. This predates Cleopatra. That's garbage, man. That's dumb. It's dumb. If you made $50,000 a year, right? $1 trillion. $50,000 a year. What Republicans in Congress would consider a middle class income? $50,000. It's like kind of around what I make right now. It's $50,000 a year. How many years would it take you to make $1 trillion? Divide by 50,000. It would take you 20 million years. 20 million years of labor to get to $1 trillion. 20 million years of labor to get to $1 trillion. And these assholes don't want to raise the minimum wage. They don't want you to have workers' rights. They don't want you to unionize. But they get $1 trillion? 20 million years at $50,000 a year to become a trillionaire. Eat them all. Eat every single rich asshole in existence. Just carve them up on a platter and just add some A1 sauce and just nom 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 nom. I'm sure Elon is super fatty. I bet those short ribs would smoke really well. They'd just fall off the bone. He's probably like Kobe beef at this point. Probably gets massages all the time because he's a rich guy, and he's just tender, just barbecue him. Barbecue every single one of those assholes. BBQ. Okay. Okay. Oh, I divided by 6 in a row. But did that double click again there, Kevin? Dang it. All right, well, whatever. It's forever. It is forever. Okay. Corporate Walnut, if there's a robot at the dining table, I'm not going home for Christmas. Snurtler says, oi. Grape Nuts, Houston, happy day. What are the values you live by? Also, if you were to serve your romantic love a dish, can you describe it in intimate detail? Values I live by. Try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and when they violate that, life's too short to deal with them. That's kind of it. Like, hey, we meet, cool, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. You fuck me, I'm like, life's too short to deal with you anymore, go away. I'm not, I'm okay with second chances if somebody is not in their right mind. If they, I can try to understand people's like traumatic experiences and try to get past that and help them. But there's only so much help you can give someone before it just becomes a time suck and life is too short. It's like, buddy, life's too short, man. Also, but there's a caveat there that also is an addendum to the life is too short. If someone gives you the willies, it is not your job to try and find the good in them. Basically, every person who's ever given me the willies has turned out to be a fucking creeper. And this goes back to my childhood of meeting someone and like being forced to like shake hands with a man and be like, something in my gut is saying no, I don't like this person. And then some adult being like, come on, don't behave like that. And it turns out the dude's like touching kids or kidnap somebody or whatever every single time. And so even as an adult, if I meet somebody and my stomach goes, ugh, I just listen to it. Life's too short not to. Like, I don't need to spend chunks of my time trying to find the good in somebody who gives me the heebie-jeebies. Because every single time they've failed me. If I get heebie-jeebies from you, I'm out. I'm done. No more. Because that right there is like 3.5 billion years of evolution of the survivors in my bloodline going, I'm out of here. And I'm going to listen to it. That's it. I have a couple of kind of Confucius-esque quotes that I follow. One is, I learned from my karate sensei, it is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So I have lots of tools and lots of fun toys in my kitchen. It is easy to pretend to be serious. It is impossible to pretend to be witty. A lot of folks who are very serious, when you get down to it, they're actually fucking morons. And all they have is seriousness. They have no fun and joy in their life. What's another one that I kind of follow? A smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Basically, if someone tells you like, hey man, that red hot stove is hot, don't touch it. You'd be like, fuck you, I'm going to prove. Like, you don't need to experiment all the time, right? This is one of the instances where I know Elon's a moron, is that we have 80 years of rocket technology, of experimentation, of people breaking things and figuring out the next steps. And he has to redo all those experiments himself. Those things have been tested. They've been repeated. It's like, hey, that doesn't work. And he's like, nope, I'm going to do it from scratch. And you got to learn it all over again. And it's like, oh my God. You don't have to prove that you need a deluge or a flame diverter by not having a deluge or a flame diverter for the most powerful rocket ever built. You don't have to be like, well, I'm going to see if I could do it without, because you fucking can't. There's a reason why those things exist, because people already tested it and figured it out. So another one that I kind of live by. Don't hurt women and kids. That's a pretty easy one. And if you find out someone is hurting women and kids, you have my permission to hurt them right back. Do whatever it takes to protect those women and kids. Kick their ass, turn them into the police. I don't care. By all means, do it. I kind of talked about we don't need billionaires just a minute ago, or trillionaires for that matter. Um, hmm. Hmm. Well, uh, excuse me. A dish I would cook for someone who I'm sweet on. I like grilling tender meats. I love it. This might be the straight male Houston talking, but I love going to a barbecue. I love throwing a tenderloin or a ribeye on there and cooking it to exactly 130 degrees and then taking it off and having a perfectly medium rare steak of some kind. Mwah. I can't guarantee that someone I'm sweet on loves themselves a steak, but if they did, I would cook a steak to perfection for them. I also like doing slow cooked, like flaky, delicious meats. Um, Cooking fish, growing up a salmon is really good too. You don't need to like put the salmon on the flames. You can just wrap it in tin foil and just steam the sucker inside its own juices, and throw in like a dill sauce or cumin and butter or something like that. It's really good. I like doing fancy ramens. That's also a fun one. Um, and baking brownies. I love brownies. Yum 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 yum. Brownies are like little mobile chocolate cakes. They're delicious. So maybe a brownie for dessert with whipped cream. Okay. 654. Does the Supreme Court have the balls to finally rule against Trump's tariffs, or is this all a show? I think their owners are losing money from this. Thoughts? It was interesting to listen to some of the audio from the hearing yesterday. It seems like, and you can never really judge based on the questions a Supreme Court justice is asking. Like you can have justices who really take, the opposite side in their questioning and then rule completely different. But Alito seemed to want to give the president as much power as possible, despite what the Constitution says. Tariffs are an Article 1 power. The president, no deferral from Congress has been given to the president to institute tariffs. Despite any arguments that Alito was trying to counter on that, he's full of shit. Alito was trying to be like, well, the president can like have military conflicts, and the lawyer was like, but that's because Congress allowed it. Nowhere has Congress said, yeah, by all means, do all the tariffs you want to the president. So, whenever a solid point was being brought up by the prosecutor in this, or the plaintiff, I should say, Alito would like jump in and try to interrupt them with something stupid. Alito is a moron. If I don't have too much experience reading legal documents or rulings, but when Alito writes a ruling, I mean, I know his clerks are actually writing it, but like the spell checking hasn't been done. The sentences don't make sense. The cases that get cited often don't exist or rule the complete opposite of what he's citing. He is real dumb. Probably not Clarence Thomas dumb, but pretty dumb. So I have no idea what way they're going to go on this. But if they value their 401ks or their retirement plans or anything else, they will rule against the tariffs because it is eating away at the U.S. economy in a very, very steep and deep manner. Okay. Man says shit's gonna crash any day now. It's ridiculous, especially if the Supreme Court says no, Trump can do tariffs. Then we're fucked. Viva Gabe 99. How long do you think it would take to get America back to the way it was? If you think that's going to be possible, 50 years. I was saying just even in like March, April, it's going to take 50 years to fix the damage that's been done. Whatever president we have next is going to have to go on one hell of an apology tour and basically go to every country in the world and be like, I'm so sorry. We fucked up. That guy's an asshole. We're holding him accountable. This will never happen again. And that's basically what they got to do. Got to go to every country, every leader, and just apologize. And I know Republicans are like, oh, I'm going on some fucking apology tour. If you want your life back and you want to be able to export your goods and your farm shit and your ag and whatever and your widgets, you're going to have to go on an apology tour. Because the world right now is basically cauterizing the United States. Right? We're like a seeping wound, and they're cauterizing that wound and figuring out how to get along in life without us. Might as well chop off a finger and be like, well, I guess I got 4 fingers on that hand now. I'm going to live my life according to that. And then all of a sudden, this little asshole disease finger comes back and like, I'm so sorry, I'll do better next time. You'd be like, nah, you're gangrenous, right? So the world's figuring out how to do without U.S. products and without U.S. anything. And so in order to get back into it, we got to reduce the price of things a lot. That's money talks, bullshit walks, right? So if you apologize and then everything else is still expensive as hell and your evil companies are still trying to destroy everything, then it won't mean anything. So we're going to have to domestically tear apart these large banks and conglomerates and monopolies. Just rip them apart. Just break them into 1,000 different pieces and allow the competition and innovation to take place. We're going to have to invest heavily into scientific research, more so than we had before, because while we spend a cajillion dollars, or in the past spent a cajillion dollars on research in the past, the number of actionable papers to get approved are now being dwarfed by nations like China. China's putting way more interest into that, and so a lot more profound papers and medical research and other sciences are beginning to dwarf what the U.S. produces, and that benefits their companies and their corporations. So if you want America to be innovative and to be on the next frontier, you need to fund this stuff. You need to get those scientists. You need to get the kids interested in science. You need to get the next generation of scientists in there doing cool shit. You also need to do something about the bad actors in the internet. Meaning, if you're a nation that's sponsoring bot farms and troll farm accounts, right? You need to see that as an enemy of your nation. So if I log in, if I'm president of the United States and I log into Twitter and I see a whole bunch of bots from Russia speaking bullshit, I'm going to tell who the Joint Chiefs, I'm like, hey, find these guys and wipe them off the face of the earth. That's to be the order, because this is an attack on my country, and I'm going to treat it like that, and I'm going to attack whoever did this, and just blink them out of existence, so that they don't want to make the little bot farms anymore. The people who know how to make those bot farms are just dust in the wind at that point, because the erosion of society right now is largely in part due to these bot farms, these troll farms, and AI slop fooling everyone's brains. Another thing I do is do what Denmark's doing, which is copyright everyone's face, so that you have the monetary, you own your own image, and if someone makes AI of you, you can sue the shit out of the AI company for cajillions of dollars to make it so AI companies don't want that stuff anymore. There's no reason why AI should be allowed to make video and images. None. Period. If you want your AI to do stuff, have it do something else other than make AI videos and images. Because it's getting too confusing, and there's too many boomers who can't count the number of fingers on a hand, who don't realize that there's a bunch of gibberish in the words in the background, and they believe it. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff we got to do to fix this. We have to get people health care. We have to sort of be a country that is both empathetic and takes no shit. That's a fine line to walk, right? We got to be like, hey, people need help in this world, and we have the person being able to do that, but you're not going to take advantage of us in that respect. We got to rebuild the middle class. We have to educate people. It's going to take a long time. So yeah, 50 years. That's how long I see until we're back to where we should be. But I don't know if we'll get that chance again. Honestly, it might be over at this point. So, yeah. Jay Geiser started a show, and yes, I was happy when you scroll enlarge yesterday. I laughed hard when your guest last week called you out on a Super Mario map in the background. Like, cough laughed. I like my background. Michael Harrow, Houston. Do you think if Trump gave someone CPR, they would get heroes? I think you mean herpes. Yes, yes, they would. Can you imagine Trump like blowing into your mouth and like his entire like roof of his mouth comes into your mouth because he's got a giant gaping hole in the roof of his mouth? Just tastes like McDonald's burger and Diet Coke. Oh, can't be like, just no, let me have this heart attack and die now. Jay Geiser says, did you go out to your BMW, undo the OBD2 connector from your dash, undo the added OBD2 add-on, and put original OBD2 back at the bottom of the dash? There's an OBD2 add-on in my dash? I've not heard about that. Batteries run down because they put a new pigtail on that as a second OBD2 port pass-through. I'll have to go look. I know I have the port because I have a code reader that I plugged into it, but I didn't know. I didn't look to see if there's a second one there. Used car dealers used to do it for tracking, and it runs down battery like crazy. I'll have to look. Noted. I will look for that. Oh shoot, I'm in live chat. I'm not in live chat, I'm in top chat. Dang it. How much did I miss? Somebody tweeted a big old penis. Nice there, Kazo Tita Supa Kapako. That's a dong. That is straight up dong in the chat there. I am impressed. Honestly. That's wizard like. Did I miss a Turkish chat here? Because I was in top chat and not live chat. Turkish. RV006008. I do not see Turkish. I only see what. Hold up. Can you not see my message? That's messed up. I don't see it. Yogi 2012 says frozen meatball hoagie. That'd be a good one. Like a freezing your snowball. Aaron Salentine, Houston. If you got horse ranch, that thing smells really bad. Horse ranch? Is this? Wait, what? Oh, horseradish, maybe. Horseradish? Do you not want to get horseradish on you? Turkish message my message 8th from top. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see a Turkish message 8th from top, do I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't see one at all. 8th from top. 8th from top for me is Polestar saying yo. I 1,000 apologies there, Turkish. I don't see it. Throw it in there again. Naomi Wolf 4174. Happy birthday, Houston. Dana HD9BQ. Did you check telepathy tapes yet? I did not. I have been raised by science, but of course, read a wide variety of books that stretched my mind. Stretched my mind. Always healthy skepticism. This is a trip, Moas. I have it written down right there, but I have not done it yet. Maybe tonight. I will put this actually there in front of me, so that tonight I will see it when I come back to the computer. Joe Sports says hit the like button. Joe's Miami. Senate 5149 Republicans to block resolution that would prevent Trump invading Venezuela. I voted for Trump because I don't want any new wars. War. Kevin 9441. Imagine a functioning government and economy. Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh man, be spectacular. Nanomoth. Companies never lower prices to prior lows, just like COVID stuck with high prices. This is true, unless you smash all those companies to bits and they got to compete with each other. Oh, if say instead of I don't know four different companies to provide the meats across the country, you had 400, then you might have some competition in those prices. You no longer have collusion. I mean, the state's attorneys general, they have to sue these meat manufacturers constantly for collusion in prices. And then they get this like giant settlement, and the prices come down for like 3 months, and they go right back up again. Next time around, the state's attorneys general should sue, and the settlement should be you're going to break up into 400 little companies. And you're going to have slaughterhouses all over the place. And we're going to actually limit the efficiency of your company by stacking, just a couple of slaughterhouses across the U.S. And we're going to make it so that you have to compete with yourself, basically. So things like that would make America great again, rather than some new crypto scam from the president. Lee Meadows, a nice little bounce on IEP last couple of days. Seems like they've got something finally coming. Redline, definitely bearish if the U.S. government has to pay back all the tariff revenue. That's also true because we don't have the money to do any of that. Kevin also says, should be more. You divided by 601. Oh, that's because I goofed up. My mouse likes to double click when I only click once, and it really drives me up the wall. None of what sucks is consumers will never see that tariff money. No, it's going to go back to the companies, and they're going to be like, woo, unless they sold their tariff futures to somebody else. Martin Burt, 1977. Hello, Houston. What do you think about quantum computer stocks, especially RGTI? Seems way overpriced to me, tempting to short it. Most of these quantum computing stocks are shams. They are based in teeny tiny little rooms with no employees, and they don't actually have a quantum computer. They just seem like they're a stock scam that someone's making rich on most of them. And RGTI seems like one of them. The only inroads in quantum computing you'll hear come from big companies like Microsoft and Google. All these little companies, they don't even have a quantum computer. They're just some sort of scam thing. Chris, MD Trade says, dude, because of the big old wiener in the chat. Which again, I must say, like, I don't know how to make dominoes appear on a screen in a chat. I don't know the technology behind it. I don't know how to make it happen. How do you make little domino dots appear so you can make a wang right there in the chat? Good for you for learning how to do that. I never had the attention span to be like, you know what? I want to put a penis in the chat. And I'm going to figure out how to do it. And you did it. You figured out how to do it. And I am very proud of you. Good job. Good job. Okay. Chris OQ 1QC. MMTLP getting financial paperwork updated, helping us in any way? I mean, as Next Switch Hydrocarbons has updated paperwork, I think they are now allowed to submit a new S1, and hopefully that helps us. But really, we're now like 3 years on in this garbage, and it sucks so much. So Edward 99 Houston, it surprises me how nice and caring you seem to be. However, you are always encouraging people to be violent towards others. I don't see how it's okay if it's against someone you don't agree with. Edward, if confronted with a Nazi, destroy that Nazi. Period. Their existence is a threat to your person. So it is okay to carpet bomb Nazis. That's basically carpet bomb Nazis, carpet bomb neo-Confederates. You don't need them anywhere. They are. This is the whole tolerance of intolerance paradox. Like, if someone's entire political ideal is I am going to murder everyone on Earth who isn't me, that person has lost the right for reasoned debate. You can't negotiate with Hitler. He is going to take over the world. That's it. That is what he's going to do. And so if you're like, well, let's sit down and have ourselves a nice conversation, he's going to use that time to arm himself even more to then blitzkrieg his way across Europe. He will strike deals with people and then go back on them. Does that sound very similar? Hey, let's get the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact and we'll split Europe, right? Stalin's like, yeah, let's do that. And then he invades Western Russia. So it's like, I don't believe in discriminating against people for how they were born. Meaning, if they were born of a different color, they're born into a different religion or a different nationality, you can't help that stuff. You can't help if you're born gay or if you're born trans. That's just how you popped out of the womb, right? I can take issue with the choices people make. And if your choices are to hurt these groups because of how they were born, I'm going to hurt you right back. Because that's the only way to keep you in check. If at this point in your life you have not been reasoned with as to why that is wrong, then my boot in your ass is how it's going to end. If you come to me and you're Nazi piece of shit, I'm going to finally end World War II for you. And I have no issue with that. The Nazis declared total war on the entire globe, right? And if you are espousing Nazism, if you're espousing white supremacy, if you're espousing neo-Confederacy, if you're espousing that women should lose their rights and that gay people should be put in camps and minorities should be murdered or enslaved, I'm going to end your life. Because that's a threat to me. Those are fighting words. And anything that happens to you after that, I'm off the hook, baby. That's stand your ground land. As a Jewish man, you approach me with a swastika, I'm going to see that as you want to kill me, and I'm going to kill you first. Done. So yeah, I do think we should probably try to get along. But there's a subset of society that doesn't want that can't be reasoned with in that way. They don't have empathy. They don't have caring. They don't have a conscience. They've got deep-seated cluster B personality disorders that cannot be cured, and they're fucking assholes. The laws we have in society are mostly to deal with those cluster B personalities as a way to detain and remove from society those folks. That's mostly where rules come in. Because if we didn't have those rules, then the cluster Bs would take over. The Hitlers would take over. The Donald Trumps take over. And that's why they want to erode laws and enforcement so they can get away with doing the shit that they do. So, that's what I say. Carpet bomb the Nazis. Okay. Aaron South in Houston. So I was a diagram of the AI bubble, which is just $1 trillion moving around in a cycle. The same $1 trillion, like there is no new money, it's a scam. Yeah. We diagram from that bubble for Halloween. Is that what you're saying? Lucas says Nazis are subhuman. I wouldn't say Nazis are subhuman, more as Nazis have refused their humanity. That makes sense? Like, they're still people. They're still people. They just said, I am better than people. I am something else. Wrongly. And that is, like, that's a choice they made. You know? If you encounter some white supremacist account online, you know, where they're denigrating minorities or people because of their race, creed, whatever, what you come down to is that their white pride is the result of them not actually ever having achieved anything. And so the only thing they have to be proud of is what color of the vagina they slithered out of. Making the lives better for anybody. My camera might be paused here as the power just blinked and may have knocked out the internet. No, internet's back. Okay. And And you got guys like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk wanted so desperately to go to West Point, but Charlie Kirk was dumb and he wasn't a very good student. And he didn't get into West Point, and so he wants to blame. He felt like he deserved a spot, and it was taken by someone with black skin. Got his spot instead. But that person with black skin who got into West Point had a 4.0, lettered in 4 sports, got a 1580 on their SATs. Charlie was none of those things. Charlie was a doofus who dropped out of community college after 1 quarter. And then he was just wanted he couldn't accept the fact that he's mediocre. And so he had to find a boogeyman, somebody who actually did 10 times the work and is 10 times better than he is, who achieved things that he never could have otherwise. And so he spoke to all the other mediocre dweebuses out there who just aren't that good at shit. And he's like, see, Ketanji Jackson Brown, it's her fault you aren't a kajillionaire head of a company right now. When really it's their fault they're head of a kajillion-dollar company because they're a bunch of mediocre weevils, right? So, So, oh shit, time for me to go. You guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow at some point for a show. I'm not sure what time. We'll figure it out. And punch Nazis. Okay, let's boogity boogity. Where's my thing? It's almost dark outside. It's pretty close to dark outside. We'll be getting to after darks here at the end of the shows in no time. Boom. Oops, I hit the minute that one. Well, I guess we're pretending like it's after dark. I hit the wrong button. I hit the one below that. Boom. Whoops. That's off. Okay, now we're gone.